What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? I'm going to talk about some potential landing spots for Max Scherzer if he were to get traded this season. Let's get to it. What is going on, everyone? How are we doing? Hello. Happy Friday. What is going on? Hope everyone has had a good week. I'm seeing 27 people in the chat. I'm not expecting a big turnout for this one tonight. I'm not going to be here too long tonight. Just a quick stream tonight. But yeah, we're going to talk a little Max Scherzer tonight. I'm not going to waste a lot of time, but before I get started, I will say hello to everyone. What's going on? Chairman, what's going on? Nicholas, hello. Zachary, what's going on? Mr. Chicken, Southsider, Sean Burns, Abbas, BZ Baseball, James Scott, hello, XXXMLGXX, what is going on? Hello, Sean Burns, Jacob Law, Tice Thomas, what is going on? William Fulgham, hello. If I missed anyone, Lil Yankee King, what is going on? Everyone, if I've missed anyone, hello. Hope everyone has had a good week. Hope everyone is watching some baseball tonight. Jacob DeGrom, before I get started, is just going absolutely nuts right now. I think this guy, the last time I checked, had 15 strikeouts, had a double, drove in a run at one point. If I were to actually go look at that real quick, I mean, what in the world? Jacob DeGrom is just out of his mind. Let me go take a look. What's the update on Jacob DeGrom? Yeah, 15 Ks. Mets leading 4-0 right now. What a performance tonight for Jacob DeGrom. Before I do get started with the Max Scherzer talk, let me actually just show this real quick. Look at the box score here. Jacob DeGrom, man, he's out of his mind. I mean, could we maybe see? I'm hearing that the people in New York were chanting MVP tonight. I mean, why not? Let's just do it. Jacob DeGrom for the MVP. Let's just do it. Where is the pitching line for DeGrom? So is he still in the game? He was at 8 innings. How many pitches is he at? He's at 100 pitches. Why not? Let him just throw the complete game. 2 hits right now. Out of his mind. And then he was 2 for 4 tonight as an RBI. I mean, come on, man. Jacob DeGrom, what a performance. But everyone, real quick, before I get started, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 7K by the All-Star break. Hit that like button for me. That's going to get this out to more baseball fans. I would like for this video to keep getting views, hopefully up until around the trade deadline, because I think this is something that we should keep an eye on. Maybe Max Scherzer could be the biggest trade piece by the trade deadline. And also, go follow me on Twitter as well if you would like to talk some baseball throughout the day. So, but yes, that is kind of the story right now. I mean, well, maybe not the story, but if there were to be some early trade rumors, it's very early right now. And one second, let me just pull up what I'm about to share with you guys. But yeah, it's very early right now. Obviously, there's not a big, this is not the time for trade rumors at the moment. But, MLB.com, they posted an article. Let me actually pull this up. And MLB Trade Rumors posted an article as well. This was posted yesterday. And, and I've said this too. Heading into this season, I think, Max Scherzer, this is a guy where it really depends on what the Nationals are doing. Right now, this Nationals team, if we go take a look at the standings, again, I know it's early. We're not even out of April yet. But hey, you know what? It's fun, and we're gonna talk some fun. But right now, the Nationals, I mean, I know they're only a game out right now, but 7-9. But if they continue to play, not so great baseball, kind of like this 500 team, I could definitely see a scenario where Max Scherzer gets traded. MLB.com decided to put this article yesterday by Mark Feinsand. Could Max Scherzer be the next Justin Verlander? It's funny, when Justin Verlander got traded to the Astros a few years ago, he wasn't putting up like great numbers at that time. And Max Scherzer, this article pointed out that Max Scherzer right now is better than what Verlander was doing for the Tigers at that point. Or at least in that point of the season. So Max Scherzer, if he becomes available, and if the Nationals keep playing like this 500 team, I think it's very possible you could see Scherzer be on the move. Why? Well, first off, it's the last year of his contract, and he will be a free agent after this season. If you go take a look at the contract itself this year, he's going to be making a lot of money, so that's going to be a big factor as well. Right now, he's looking at around $34.5 million this year. Again, he will become a free agent after this season, so that would be smart for the Nationals. They made a mistake not trading Bryce Harper before. They could have gotten some prospects for him, and they chose not to. And obviously, as we know how that story unfolded, Bryce Harper went to the Phillies, and the Nationals were left with nothing. However, they did win the World Series the next year. But I think it would have been nice if they could have gotten some prospects for him. So that could have been very helpful, especially for a farm system that's not the deepest in baseball. So I think the Nationals, if this opportunity comes up for a Max Scherzer, I think you're going to see them take this opportunity. So I came up with a few teams, or also actually real quick before, and then MLB Trade Rumors, they posted this article as well. Will the Nationals trade Max Scherzer this summer? So the article here, and again, like I pointed out the article from Mark Feinsand. I swear, I always want to call him Mike Farnsand. But Ken Rosenthal also had an article about it too. But here's the poll. Will the Nationals trade Scherzer by the deadline? Again, it's only April 23rd. Very early. But right now, the poll, we're at 62.3% no. I'm not sure how many votes there are, but that is where we're at right now, according to the people of MLB Trade Rumors. I'm in the yes category. If I were to make a prediction right now, I think Scherzer ends up getting traded. I don't know. I think the Mets, I think the Braves, they're too good. I just think the Nationals. I came into this season not really too high on the Nationals, and yeah. I just feel like the Nationals, they're just going to keep kind of being like this 500 team, and I think in my opinion, I predict they're going to end up trading Max Scherzer. So. Let's kind of get to some options here. So I came up with a few teams where I think these teams could be good fits. And if any of you have any other ideas, please put it in the chat. Put it in the comments after this video has been published. I would love to see all of the ideas that you have. If you can, hey, feel free, put together some trades in the chat. Put together some trades in the comments. And you guys know me. I love to use baseballtradevalues.com. In my opinion, I think that's a very good tool to use when it comes to putting together trades because simply teams, they use algorithms simply or similar to what baseballtradevalues.com uses. So I'm going to be using that today to just kind of come up with some ideas for trades, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. So I'm going to go, I got 5 teams here, and I know there's definitely some more teams that can be added to this list, but just to keep it short and simple, I came up with 5 teams. So seeing 47 people in the chat, that's a good way to get started. Here we go. The first team, this team has been linked to Max Scherzer before. They have definitely been connected with Max Scherzer. And you know what? This team is off to a pretty tough start, and I think they're going to end up turning it around at some point. And they are pretty close to the luxury tax line as it is right now. But if they really feel like they could be a contender this year, and I mean, hey, I think this team absolutely has a chance to win it all this year. Why not go for a guy like this to go alongside your ace that you already have? And that's the Yankees. Why not? I think the Yankees, in this whole offseason, I was kind of waiting for the Yankees to pull the trigger on someone for this past offseason. Someone, a number 2, someone to go alongside of Garrett Cole. And they didn't really do it. And instead, they kind of went for some more higher upside options that were a little cheaper. They went with a Corey Kluber. They went with a Jameson Taillon. But you know what? I feel like if the Yankees are right there, you know, they've righted the ship by this point, I could definitely see this Yankees team. I mean, I know the Yankees, they're a little more cost efficient now. They don't like to go over that luxury tax line, but so this is why I'm kind of starting off with them, because I'm not sure what they would want to do when it comes to, you know, money wise, but I could definitely see maybe at least their name coming up in trade talks. So let's go to baseball trade values. Let's go take a look at some ideas for a Max Scherzer, and this will give you all an idea too of kind of what it's going to take to get a Max Scherzer. So if I were to put Max Scherzer right here, right now you're looking at Max Scherzer, you'd be kind of surprised about this, only a 10.5 value. So not the best value, but there's a couple of reasons why here. You're looking at his age. First off, he's 36 years old and a big contract as well. So but he is very good, so he is still going to pop out a positive value. So, however, if the Yankees were to maybe pay off some of that salary, you know, or the Nationals, were to pay off some of that salary, they would be able to get more prospects back. So let's say right now you're looking at Scherzer. Oh, we got some super chats coming in. What is going on? Michael Yanks with a $10 super chat. William Fulgham had a super chat too. Why didn't that pop up? Michael Yanks, are you going to be live streaming tonight's Padres and Dodgers game? I'm sorry that I've been missing your streams. That is okay. Yeah, the Padres, a bit of a weird start for the Padres this year. A bit up and down so far. Hopefully they can start getting it together at some point. I probably won't be. I'll check in at the end, but I'm not going to stay for the whole game. Unfortunately, Michael, I'm sorry. I'm currently right in the middle of doing laundry, so I'm going to do a quick stream here, and then I'm going to start getting out of here. I'm not going to be on here too late. William Fulgham, Hap has a no-hitter through 6. Could you imagine I go live on another night where we have another no-hitter? I would lose my mind. So anyway, thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate that. That really goes a long way. Thank you so much. So, taking a look at the Nationals and the Yankees, this is what you're looking at right now. If the Nationals were okay with getting some less prospects, the Yankees would not have to give up too much here. So if you're looking here, at this point, the Nationals could use any kind of prospects, and I'm sure they would be willing to pay off some of that salary. I mean, you're looking at, you got a lot of options here. Maybe like someone like a Gill, a Volpe. I would imagine if you're not going to be paying for some of that salary, I would imagine, they're going to want at least a couple of different prospects instead of just one. So, you know what? Let me actually let's see here. Let me do a 10.5 value. I want to go Nationals. So let's do 10.5. Let's just say the Yankees, they don't have to pay any of it. Let's just say that. We're just kind of spitballing here. But let's just say right now, so as of right now, J.A. Happ, no hitter through 7 innings. You got to be kidding me. Is literally am I going to literally maybe see another no-hitter on a live stream? I will lose my mind. 1 second, everyone. I got to plug in my iPad real quick. 1 sec. I will lose my mind if we see another no-hitter. I will be 3 for 3 in no-hitters. That would be insane. I might have already jinxed it, but what can you do? Alrighty, so taking a look here. Let's get back to the topic at hand. I'm sorry, everyone. Let's see here. Now, let's just say the Nationals, they got, they can get some prospects here. Oh, we got another super chat coming in. Yankees really need a number 2. I was honestly waiting for them to trade for someone. Not that the starters have been terrible, just not quite great. And, I'm going to still wait on, guys like Corey Kluber. I'm still going to wait on, a guy like Luis Severino as well. The Yankees definitely have some internal options already. So I just think, man, this would really this would really set them apart, man. If this would be huge. Thank you so much, Wonder Davey, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that, my friend. Taking a look. So if you're the Yankees right now, you would have to, if the Nationals are going to be taking on, they're going to pay for Scherzer's salary and they just want some prospects. I mean, you're looking at some guys here. Hey, if you're the Yankees, you got some guys that you could part with. Maybe a Gill, maybe a Volpe, something like that. And then you can maybe throw in one more guy here and you can probably get something done. Maybe I don't know. You're just kind of looking at numbers here. They're 3 points away. I don't know, maybe so like a Pereira in the outfield, and then you got something here. That's actually dead even right there. So this would be kind of what a trade would look like. Maybe not the exact players, but something along these lines, to where if the Nationals were to send over the cash for Scherzer's salary, then this is kind of what you're looking at, something like this. So, but yeah. This is kind of what you're thinking here with the Yankees and the Nationals. I think the Nationals and the Yankees, I think the Yankees would be incredible if they were able to get a Max Scherzer. I think that would really set them apart in the American League. And if they were to get to a World Series, I mean, that's insane. You would have a Garrett Cole, a Max Scherzer, and then you got Corey Kluber and Jamison Taillon, and then Luis Severino if he's healthy. That would be huge. That would be more than enough to be able to contend for a World Series this year. We'll have to see. I mean, again, with the Yankees, one other thing to point out is that the Yankees, they don't want to ever go over that luxury tax. So actually, where are they right now with the payroll? I feel like they're not over it. Are they? I don't remember. No, they're not. They're not. They're at $207.4 million. So, yeah, they tend not to want to go over this luxury tax line. But if the Nationals were to pay for that salary, I think you maybe have something here. So, here we go. I'm going to go to my next team. I think that this is another team in the American League. I mean, you know what? They made a trade this past offseason to acquire a starting pitcher, and that's really paid off, at least so far. They haven't quite gotten it going yet. I mean, they're still trying to get the wheels going fully and just go on a complete hot streak. But this is one team, if you were to get this guy, you are really cementing yourself in the American League. How about the Chicago White Sox? I mean, I think the Chicago White Sox could be incredible. I mean, could you imagine? You have this rotation of Lucas Giolito, a Max Scherzer, a Lance Lynn. I mean, you got Carlos Rodon, who just threw a no-hitter. And then, Dallas Keuchel. I mean, this would be insane. If the Chicago White Sox were able to get someone like a Max Scherzer, this would be nuts. And that would be huge, and that would be a really tough team to beat, especially in the playoffs. So let's go take a look. What would it take for maybe the White Sox to pry away someone like a Max Scherzer? So let's go take a look here. I'm going to reset this. White Sox. Here we go. Coming back to you guys. So for the White Sox, wait, no, I don't want that one. I want Nationals and White Sox. So for the Nationals, you are looking at Scherzer, and I'm also going to keep that cash in there, because I feel like if you're the Nationals, I think you would be willing to pay that money if you're going to get some prospects back, because because of Scherzer's age and because of the size of the contract, I feel like you're not going to be able to get as many prospects back. So, this White Sox team, I think, would be incredible for a Max Scherzer. So take a look. And again, you got 21 points of value to work on here. They got some guys. I don't think they would part with like a Crochet. If I were to pull up some prospects. So White Sox top prospects at the moment. Again, I don't think you're going to see guys, these top guys get parted with. I don't think you're going to see a Yoelqui Cespedes get parted with. But then you got maybe like some of these guys like after 5, like Matthew Thompson, a Jonathan Stever, a Dahlquist, an Adolfo, a Vera. If we were to take a look, let's take a quick look. All right, so All right. Let me actually just pull up minors. All right, so yeah, Vaughn, Crochet. I don't think you're going to see those guys. So Gonzalez. Where is Gonzalez on this list? So Luis Gonzalez, the 13th prospect. So as of right now in baseball trade values, he has a 6 value. I mean, could you maybe part with a Jared Kelly? They did just draft him. I mean, I don't know. He was drafted at a high school, very far away. I don't know. I mean, something like that. I don't know. I'll just throw him on there. Probably wouldn't want to get traded, or they wouldn't want to part with him. And then a Sheets. So Gavin Sheets, the number 12 prospect. Something like that. And then right now, I mean, you're still a little away. If you were to throw in maybe one more guy, maybe like a Rutherford. So the 11, 12, and the 13. Something like that. And then you maybe have something. And then there was Dahlquist. Where was Dahlquist again? The number 8. So why not? Let's just put Dahlquist there. And then you might have something here. 4 pretty decent prospects. If you don't want to part with a Kelly, you could maybe just put Rutherford. A couple outfielders, and then maybe one more guy, and then you kind of have something here. You got a decent little group of prospects. That could be something worthwhile for the White Sox. I think the White Sox would be an incredible team if they were able to get a Max Scherzer. That would really set them apart. They would be really tough to beat, especially come playoff time. This White Sox team, that would be huge. They would really cement themselves in the American League. So, moving on. Now, we're going to go back to the East, and this team, we're going to go back to the American League East. And if this team really wants to accelerate maybe getting to the promised land, they've been kind of playing it slow. They've been taking their time. They've been building from within. But, man, if they just want to go for it and they could really use some starting pitching depth, the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, this one might be a bit of a reach, but, man, it's fun to think about. If you think about the Toronto Blue Jays, you got Hyun-Jin Ryu, and then you just kind of have some, you got some pieces after. Steven Matz, he's been able to do pretty good so far, but what's he going to be like over a full season? Max Scherzer, I mean, depending on where the Blue Jays are at that point, I mean, they have the prospects to be able to get this done. I don't see why you couldn't get this done. I thought the Blue Jays were going to go after one more pretty good starting pitcher this past offseason. And, I mean, you got to think, man, how fun would this be to see a Max Scherzer pitching in Toronto? And hopefully by that point, fans are back, and hopefully people can go to games in Canada. Could you imagine? You got it, you're maybe in an American League Championship Series, and you got Max Scherzer, and those fans are going crazy in Toronto, and Max Scherzer is just dominating in the playoffs. So now, this might be a bit of a reach if you are the Toronto Blue Jays, because they are taking their time. They're trying to, they're not trying to jump the gun here. They've been really doing very well at rebuilding. They've been putting together good quality prospects and a good quality farm system, and they added a George Springer this past offseason, and they've really made a lot of the right moves. So you would have to part with some prospects here. Now, they definitely have the prospects to get it done. If you take a look here, I keep doing this. Whoops. Nationals and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, they've had some pretty fun moments so far this year. If we take a look, the Nationals trading Scherzer to the Blue Jays. And once again, I'm going to put the 10.5. We're just going to play it like that. We're just going to say, all right, the Nationals, they're going to pay for the rest of that salary. So, if you're now the Blue Jays, what could you send back if you're the Blue Jays? Let's go take a look at their top prospects. So, Toronto Blue Jays. Here we go. So, yeah, you're not getting rid of a Nate Pearson. You're not getting rid of an Austin Martin. You're definitely not getting rid of a Groshans, a Simeon Woods Richardson, Kirk. I mean, even Alek Manoah, I don't think they would part with. So, you got some other guys here, I think could definitely start a conversation if we're taking a look. Could you, I don't know, Moreno, probably not. I could definitely see a Geraldo. Why not? I don't see why that can't start a conversation. Maybe a Kloffenstein. Stein. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's the number 10 prospect. So why not? Let's throw him in there. You got maybe room for one or two more guys, and then maybe like a DeCastro. Where's DeCastro on here? So DeCastro is the number 17. Probably won't part with CJ Van Eyck. Maybe an Otto Lopez, maybe. I don't know. Let's just put DeCastro there. And then, maybe like one more guy and maybe even two more guys get this done. And then the Blue Jays got themselves a pretty decent 1-2 punch of a Max Scherzer and a Hyun-Jin Ryu. Maybe something like this. You're pretty close at this point. If you're looking at, the Nationals and the Blue Jays, I think you could get a trade done, and you wouldn't. And if you're the Blue Jays, you wouldn't have to part with any of your top prospects. You wouldn't have to. I don't think you would have to part with anyone in your top 5. I think you could. So the Nationals complete the win. Jacob DeGrom, a complete game shutout, 15 strikeouts, had an RBI, had a double. Are you kidding me? Jacob DeGrom is like the best thing since sliced bread. Are you kidding me? Give Jacob DeGrom that Cy Young already. Unbelievable. But yeah, if you're the Blue Jays here, I don't think you would have to part with any of your top guys. I think the best guy the best guy you'd have to get rid of it would be like a number 9, like a Geraldo. I mean, if you got like a decent package of guys, I think you can get it done. So that's what I'm thinking there. I think the Blue Jays maybe a bit of a stretch because I know they're trying to take their time and they're trying not to jump the gun, but hey, you know what? Maybe they're feeling spicy around that time. Maybe they feel like if they're within reach, they can go for a guy like a Max Scherzer. So I got 2 more teams on this list, and I think these 2 teams would be incredible fits. I'm going to go out west for this one. I'm going to stay in the American League, in the AL West. This is a team that could really, they did add some starting pitching this past offseason. They did bring in a couple of guys that I thought could be okay for depth, but I feel like they're still lacking someone at the top of that rotation. I think this team is definitely a contender for that division. But man, if they were to get to the playoffs, this one guy, I think, could really, really make them a very competitive team in the playoffs, and that is the LA Angels. I mean, this would be incredibly fun. I think this would be awesome for the Angels. Now, and the good thing is the Angels, I think they have some prospects they could part with, and I think they could get something done. I think this makes a lot of sense for the Angels to go after a guy like a Max Scherzer. Why not? Let's go take a look. So what could you possibly see happen for the Angels to get this done? Let me actually go pull up the Angels right now, and let's kind of see what they're working with starting pitching-wise. So if we come here to the depth charts. So right now, I mean, you do have, a Dylan Bundy. I mean, you got the Shohei Ohtani. You got the Quintana. Let me actually, real quick, I want to pull up some stats. I want some numbers. So what are we looking at here? So right now, we're looking at, so Dylan Bundy, honestly, this kind of looks like a Dylan Bundy kind of a stat line to me. If, mid-4 ERA, maybe a bit of a better FIP. I could see that. Alex Cobb has actually been pitching pretty decent. Besides the ERA, the FIP is really good. A 2.54 FIP, a 2.35 xFIP. The ERA is really high, so he just hasn't really been getting helped out. Same thing for Heaney. The FIP and xFIP are a lot better than the ERA. Quintana, same thing. FIP is really good. So, Shohei Ohtani, we kind of know how it is with Shohei Ohtani. They're gonna manage him. It is what it is. So I think a Scherzer would be huge for this rotation. Griffin Canning, I thought maybe could take a step forward this year, but he hasn't really done anything like that. So why not go after a guy like a Max Scherzer? So let's take a look. Angels, what would it take to get Max Scherzer? I think this would be really fun. Angels, getting Max Scherzer. We're going to pay for that contract as well. And, I think the Angels, I think they have some prospects to be able to get this done. LA Angels, let's take a look. All right, so top prospect, Brandon Marsh, probably not. Reed Detmers, probably not. Probably not even a Jordan Adams. But could you maybe see some of these other guys get it done? Let's take a look. Here we go. I'm just going to focus solely on minor league guys because I think if you're going to end up trading a Max Scherzer, I think that's what you're going to end up getting. I don't think you're going to see any major league pieces come back. I would imagine it makes more sense to me to, if you are going to trade Max Scherzer, probably get some prospects. So, right now, if you are the Angels, so Brandon Marsh, too much. You could do a Jordan Adams. I mean, you could do either a Jordan Adams or a Reed Detmers. But would the Angels want to do that? Probably not. So let's not focus so much on those three. Let's focus on maybe like a Chris Rodriguez, maybe like a Jeremiah Jackson, maybe a Paris. And then, I mean, something like this would get it done. So maybe not Paris. Maybe let's do, because you already got a shortstop prospect in there. Maybe a Kakanowicz, something like that. And then I think you're pretty close here. Pretty decent. Maybe a couple pitching prospects here. You got Jeremiah Jackson, your number 5. Kakanowicz, your number 7. And then who was the other one? I had Rodriguez. Oh, Chris Rodriguez, your number 4. So could you maybe see something like this get it done? I think if you're the Angels, I think you have the prospects to get it done. Especially if you feel like this is a team that could really go far. And I think this Angels team, they just need the pitching. I don't know. That's what I think personally. So Max Scherzer, I think, would be very fun on the LA Angels. So that's what I'm thinking. However, the one team that I think would be the best fit for a Max Scherzer, they have already made one big trade this past offseason. I think this is a team where every time they seem to make it to the playoffs, every year, they tend to make something happen. They tend to really pick it up in the playoffs. And if you got a guy like a Max Scherzer in this rotation, where I think you got one guy in this rotation already that is very strong, has a ton of upside, has a huge future ahead of him, this is one guy. If you get Max Scherzer in this rotation, I think this rotation could be pretty solid. And then, hey, come playoff time, this could be pretty fun. I'm thinking the St. Louis Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals, I think, could be really fun, man. And also he went to Missouri. He's from Missouri. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know geographic stuff doesn't really matter all that much, but hey, you got that going for you too. I think this would be pretty fun. Max Scherzer with the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go take a look at the Cardinals. What are we working with right now if you are the St. Louis Cardinals? I worry a little bit about that pitching. To me, it's not the deepest. I'm not a big fan of the starting pitching when it comes to the Cardinals. This is why I picked the Brewers to win that division this year. I think the Brewers are just a better team than the Cardinals right now. They're playing better. If we were to take a look here, sharing the screen. So right now, the Brewers leading the division 11-8. Cardinals are 8-10. They're kind of just lagging behind. I don't know. Nolan Arenado's not really making much of a difference, at least so far. But man, if the Cardinals are able to hang around this division and you get a guy like Max Scherzer for the second half of the season, I think that could be nasty. Right now, you do have, a few guys who have been making their starts. However, it's Jack Flaherty, and then after that, you don't even know what the heck is going on. You got Carlos Martinez. ERA is high. FIP is a little better, but it's not the best FIP. Adam Wainwright, ERA, same, a little high, but FIP is better. I don't know. It's just like not very overwhelming to me. It's just, I feel like you need something here. And if you're the Cardinals, I mean, why not? Just go for it. Maybe you could end up re-signing him for a few years. Maybe he could play the last few seasons, hometown in Missouri. Let's go take a look. What are we looking at here with the St. Louis Cardinals? What could a trade possibly look like if you're the Cardinals? Could you imagine if the Cardinals, they traded for Nolan Arenado this past offseason, and then they go get a Max Scherzer at the trade deadline? Man, that'd be pretty nasty. So, if you're the Cardinals, here we go. We're going to put Scherzer back. All right, let's reset this. Scherzer, $10.5 million. That way they can max out on the prospects. Now, the Cardinals, taking a look. All righty. So, definitely not going to part with the Liberatore, and you're not going to part with a Nolan Gorman. Probably not even an Ivan Herrera. I mean, so you got a couple other guys here. Zach Thompson. I don't even know. A Mason Wynn. I don't know. Probably not a Jordan Walker. Probably not. Maybe so. You got some other guys here. You do have options. So, let's take a look. Why not? Let's just start this with Zach Thompson. Let's start this. Their number 4 prospect. Now, after I'm going to skip Walker. I'm going to skip Mason Wynn. I don't know. I feel like they're not going to want to part with those guys. So maybe like someone like a Tink Hence, Joan Torres. Where am I clicking right now? I don't even know where I'm at. So Torres, he's at 3.3. Hence, he's at a 3.3 as well. So, I mean, hey, and if you're looking at something like this, you're in the ballpark, and I think maybe one more guy gets it done. So, let's take a look. What's one more guy? Okay, I was getting a notification from Bleacher Report. I was wondering if we still had the really good pitching performance going on from J. Happ. So, and then maybe let's throw in a Hence as well. So Hence is the number 8. So let's say you did the 7. Let's say you did the 4, the 7, and the 8. And who was the other one I had? The 4, the 7, the 8. Oh, wait, I didn't want Burleson. Did I click on the wrong one? Oh, I clicked on someone else by accident. So actually, let me throw in one more guy. Let's just say maybe like an Oviedo. I don't know. Where is Oviedo? Is Oviedo in the major? Is it in the majors right now? Where is Oviedo? He's not on here. Oh, here he is. So yeah, well, I mean, hey, this looks pretty decent if you ask me. I mean, you got some decent prospects. You got a package of 4 guys. I mean, I think this would be. I don't know. I think that sounds pretty reasonable if you ask me. I don't think that's completely crazy. You're not having to part with your top guys. Liberatore, Nolan Gorman, Herrera, you're not having to part with those. Man, I'm getting notifications all over the place. So MLB strikeout history. What was the history that he set for tonight, Jacob DeGrom? I know he had the 15 strikeouts, but MLB.com is saying he made history. I'm wondering what that is. But yeah, so back to this trade. I think you have the pieces to get it done. You're not having to part with a ton of, at least your top guys. And I think this makes your team better. And I think the St. Louis Cardinals need starting pitching. So, that's what I'm thinking with this one, everyone. And so I'm going to go over my teams. For at least me personally, these are the teams that I think, just going over my teams, that I think would be the best fits for a Max Scherzer. I think the Yankees are a bit of a stretch, unless the Nationals, they would pay for that salary. They definitely have the prospects to get it done. The White Sox would be really fun. The Blue Jays would be really fun. The Angels would be really fun. I think the Cardinals is a perfect fit, if you ask me. That's just what I'm thinking. Everyone, that is all I have for tonight. I wanted to make this a quick one tonight. I don't want this to run too long. I want some people to be able to come back to this stream. And, hey, maybe this ends up picking up some steam in the next couple of months as we approach the trade deadline. So before I get out of here, everyone, if you can, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 7K by the All-Star break. That would be awesome. Hit that like button for me, everyone, before you get out of here. And go follow me on Twitter if you want to talk some baseball throughout the day. Everyone, that is all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm going to try and work on a couple of videos this weekend. I'm trying to pick up the steam a little bit with making some more content for you guys. So, but yeah, everyone, thank you again. Thanks for coming out, and have a great weekend. I will go live again this weekend if anything happens. But yeah, everyone, thank you again. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next time.